Isn't it?
It's got a great mixture of turns.
Might be different areas.
Some very slow speed ones, some medium speed, and then you got those high speed corners as well, especially in sector one. So, it's a very challenging track, but I think it's a very satisfying track when you can actually get everything right. We do see Vicky goes P1.
And by 6/10 of a second as well, so a good margin for him to leap on the top of the timing charts as we follow on board with your old teammate here of LD4614 coming into past turn 11 into this DRS straight of the track. Very interesting part of the track, which I quite enjoy driving, and you can get a good opportunity to overtake in the end of turn 12 here. But again, like I spoke about before, easy to lock up and easy to go wide here. Coming into, again, then the slowest part of the track, like you spoke about before, pretty technical. And again, I said before, easy to lock up and easy to go wide in these parts of the sections of the track, and very easy to invalidate as well once you come to the end, especially this turn 18 part. A little bit of oversteer and the outside of the track, especially with Codemasters coding and stuff, very easy to invalidate. And then past this, coming into the last part of the track, you don't want to invalidate coming into this part of the track because you immediately brake and then turn left back onto the DRS straight, and it's a 1:33.0 for LD4614. It'll still be, probably need to go out for another lap there to stay safe of the drop zone there. But a few drivers still, like you spoke about before, USGT Fishing, still unable to complete a lap in those intermediate tyres. So the Ferrari boy is having a little bit of a struggle, but as I say that, Jay Kelly pops up to P6 with I can't see his lap time, a 1:32.8. It's a good lap from him. That'll definitely put him through to Q2. 15 drivers going through to Q2 out of the 20 that we have at the moment, and they'll look to get their fastest lap on the newest set of tyres as they can in Q2, try save them for the race, and get away from the line well, because this turn 1 is pretty hectic when you do, especially in a league race, but definitely hectic in an online lobby as well when you're doing some 5-lappers as well. So you want the most newest tyres obviously in Q2 in all races, and then moving on to Q3, 10 drivers fighting out for those last 3 podium positions as well. So it's going to be an awesome end to this qualifying session coming to you very shortly. 6 minutes left of this qualifying one session. 18 drivers completed a lap, with the fastest one being 1:31.0 from Vicky in the Mercedes. A few drivers starting to come across the line at the moment, putting in their second lap times, trying to go a little bit faster to secure their places in qualifying 2 there. Noctis needs to turn his volume down. Yep, someone needs to let him know. PSI Legend says I'm P1. It says you haven't completed a lap. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a bit glitchy. He did go into the pit lane on my screen. I'm not sure what's happening there.
Yeah, it's red. It's definitely said his track's red, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. But 5 minutes 20 left of this session. Going to be an interesting end to this session with these lap times in the drop zone there pretty close. RO3 Chartney and Scooby Stu, Noctis Caleb all on the edge of the drop zone there, but I think probably from about 9th, 10th and above, those guys should be safe from the drop zone of Q1. What are you seeing from these guys out there, guys?
Not much right now. Just still watching PSI Legend and not really sure what's going on there. But
it did have a red track about 30 seconds ago on this same lap of the screen, so I'm not 100% sure. This is an out lap for him, so hopefully we can just put in the lap so we don't have to redo the lobby. You're inside the pits, he says, but he's out of track for me. He just passed the line and now it says he's 50 seconds into his lap. So it looks like we have a little bit of a cooked lobby.
Yeah, not really sure what's happening there.
Lobby glitched, yeah. I'm not sure what's going on here.
You see a few drivers coming out for their last laps of this Q1 session. So it's going to be Noctis, Kalen, Cronad, Ace, PSI Legend. PSI was P1 apparently, but friends. There'll be Noctis, Kalen, Cronad, Ace, and Fishing looking to get into the top 15 so they can get into Q2. Yes, there's not much really happening. Just a few drivers trying to improve on their lap times. Doesn't look like Vicky or Blackstone will be coming out again, as they've already set a good lap time.
Yeah, not many drivers out on the track at the moment. Just a few starting to come out on their second flying laps, but I think the lobby is a little bit glitched with these red flags popping up everywhere. PSI Legend's still out on an outlap apparently, but he was on an outlap like 4 laps ago, so yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. Hopefully it puts him through so we don't have to restart, but we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, not too sure what's happening. Again, we do love Codemasters.
We do.
Feels like something every week happens. So I guess that is a go and the service, so there's not much we can do. As long as we're here having a bit of fun at the end of the day, I think that's important.
Exactly right. Crazy Mouse Monster now starting on his second flying lap on those, I think it might be old set of soft tyres. US GT Fishing puts in a lap time of 1:34 on those soft tyres, so not on the intermediates anymore. PSI Legends still on an outlap, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Looks like he's entering the pits now. No, I thought that was the pit lane. I was looking at the wrong thing. No, he's still on an outlap, yeah, so it's definitely glitch. Hopefully it does put him through. Drivers starting to come out of the pits at the moment, but it's going to be very touch and go if they leave it for another 30 seconds or so. If they will get out for another lap, they'll probably have to push pretty hard to get out for another lap. You see the Renault of Super Steed just starting to come out now, so he'll get around, but his tyres will be red hot when he does get around. A few drivers starting their flying laps now. PSI Legend starting his, probably say out lap this time. Coming across the line, the McLaren, I believe it is, of Noctis Kayla. No, it's LD4614 on the start of his second flying lap now. See if he can improve on his lap time. The second Red Bull of R3 Chartman behind him. Toys R Us has retired. I think he was in the pits, I believe. So I know because Vicky was in the pits, so that Toys R Us would have been out on track, but he's still driving, so I'm not sure. The PSI Legends, there we go, goes pole 130.6. We love Codemasters, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, who would jump to the top? And then I hope PSI spins, please. Yeah, a few drivers starting to come out again now, but like I said, probably not going to get to an end of a flying lap in 51, out lap at the end of 51 seconds. So I think this will be the drivers that will be out for Q1 as we see the first driver on an outlap Super Stee, Red Bull of R3 Chartman coming to the middle of his flying lap. I'm pretty sure, no, he has pulled out, so he'll probably go for a quick charge at the end of this sector and go once again. The Racing Point of Anthro's in front of him, so he'll probably go for another flying lap if he gets around in time. But he's looking like he's done. R3 Chapman's got it out of the way well. Super Stee now on a flying lap. The Ferrari, I think it is, of US GT Fishing on a in lap, so I think he might be done for the session. If someone below him improves, R3 Chartman and Chromat are the only ones that can push him down, so let's see what happens there. Scooby Stu's retired in the pits. A few drivers starting to come across the line now. Bray Train has gone into the pits, so he thinks he's invalidated his lap, so he'll be done. The AlphaTauri now of Just Jordan, who is it? Who's coming? Where's the AlphaTauri? There's two AlphaTauri. I don't know who that is. Chromad. So that's going to assist US GT Fishing. Timing screens are all over the place on my screen. I don't know what's going on. But a few drivers pulling out now. LD goes 2.9 seconds slower in Sector 2, so he's jumped up to 5th and he's going to stay there doing well in 5th there, so that's a good lap time put together from him. The Ferrari of US GT Fishing, he's done his latest flying lap, so he'll hold up there. Super Stee has finished his lap after invalidating. A few drivers starting to invalidate, and we did speak about it before, guys. This is a very, very simple track to invalidate on.
Yeah, it's a very tricky track. you know, you're always on the limit here, and it's very easy, especially to invalidate in the second one those S turns. But also, the last turn as well can also be very tricky. We do see a few people invalidate there pretty often, so yeah. A lot of places to invalidate, and as we've seen, a lot of guys just invalidated as they're just on the limits.
And RR3 Chartman pushes USGT Fishing out by 9 thousandths of a second there, pushes USGT Fishing down into P16, so that pushed him out of Q1. That's probably the most unlucky way I've seen anyone pushed out of Q1. Actually, no, we did see Answer at the same lap time last week. 9 thousandths of a second separates them from Q1. That's sad from USGT Fishing, but we can question there, did the intermediate tyres help?
I don't think they did.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so, and believe that is the end of the Q1 session there. The only guy on track at the moment, PSI Legends, I think it is, and he's been on track. Why can't I switch between drivers? This game's so glitched. I can't switch. There we go. Yeah, anyway, this game's glitched. Anyway, I forgot I saved my setup with 15 laps of fuel loaded, so my hot lap was with 14 laps of fuel. Don't deserve to move on. Fair enough. That's very unlucky. But at the end of the qualifying one session there, PSI Legends tops the timing charts with a 130.6. Vicky in P2 with a 130.10 and a 130.16 from our race winner last week, Bosco in the Williams. 15 drivers moving on to Q2 now to provide their best lap to fight for the last 10 positions in Q3. Going to be an interesting Q2 session. We'll be back shortly for that session, so make sure you don't go anywhere. Chuck us a follow on our Twitch channel if you can, and we'll see you very shortly for Q2 here in USA Tier 2 ARG racing.
Okay. And he's on his up lap when qualifying's over. Another glitch in the system.
We are back here, ladies and gentlemen, for Q2 here, Tier 2 ARG Racing. Awesome to be back, and it's going to be an interesting session after we've just seen PSI Legends out in an outlet for about 7 laps. But it's, let's see what these guys can provide for us in the Circuit of Americas here. An interesting circuit like we did speak about before, Go-Go's. What were your takes out of that Q1 session?
Well, first of all, as I said before, we like Cody's, Server's always having problems. Anyway, apart from that, PSI Legends did a great lap from the time that was shown on the screen. We didn't actually get to see it. But yeah, great lap from him. Just Jordan again, he's a bit of an underdog, We don't really talk about him much, but yeah, just a great lap from him as well. Oscar Hahn, another great lap from him to try and contest for the win. And Vicky also another great lap. So yeah, some great laps from these top drivers. And also some great laps from the midfield as well, providing for an interesting battle and hopefully.
And something I just have noticed as well from the TV cam from Bray Train, the rain is starting to come down. How do you think that's going to affect things?
I think it's going to be very interesting, as I'm sure most of the guys want to get out as soon as possible to, set the lap before the rain does set in and make the track very wet. So it does look like we have most cars going out on track. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and it's going to shake up this qualifying a lot.
Definitely PSI Legends is going to be shaken up a lot. The only car so far not to exit out on track, and LD just exiting the pits now, so he'll get a little bit more rain than the other guys, so he'll struggle a little bit more, but let's see. He had a good qualifying session 1. Let's see what he can pull out of Q2 here in USA. The first car on the track at the moment to start a flying lap, Boss Gohan. So we'll see these constant lap times coming through in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. These guys aiming to get their fastest lap time here on the newest set of tyres. These tyres that they will provide their fastest lap on will be the tyre they will start the race on here today. So you want those tyres to be as new as possible. The newer the tyres, obviously the faster they'll be. Some drivers will decide mediums, some drivers will decide soft, some might even decide hards if they don't qualify out of Q1. What happened?
Sorry to interrupt. Vicky just invalidated on the first turn, so
okay.
Not good news for him.
Exactly. 1 minute 30 is going to change the weather up a lot, so the next lap's probably going to be even more tough for Vicky there.
Yeah, so I guess a bit of a mistake from him from there, but if he does set a faster lap on the inters and he does get through to Q3, he will have a free choice of tyres if it is dry for the race, so you never know what can happen here in ARG. But yeah, could be very interesting if he does get through to Q3 in those inters. So,
something that's going to be very interesting is the back of Aiden Bell is just stuck behind Boss Gohan. Can't get past Boss. Looks like he's struggling a little bit in the rain. The gap was quite significant at the start of this lap, so let's see what these lap times come down to, because it looks like he has been held up quite a bit. Sarah Center says it might rain. Yeah, it looks like it's getting a little bit heavier as these guys come to the end of their first flying laps here in Q2. So let's see where these guys go. Boss Gohan puts it up there with a 139.2. Aiden Bell with a 137.8 coming across the line now. Bray Train with a 137.9. The Racing Point of Crazy Mouth Monster 137.2 puts it on Paul Super span out, I'm pretty sure, and that is also the McLaren of LD4614 in the wall as well in Sector 2. So the rain is affecting these guys a lot, coming to the end of a lot of their flying laps now. EH Holden coming to the end of an invalidated lap time, so that is going to affect him a lot. Another Anthro coming to the end of his... no, not Anthro. Renault. Super Steve in the pits, sorry. The race point of Just Jordan goes forward with a 137.2. The other... Racing Point of Anthro now coming across the line with a 139.8. Those guys, that's action-packed lap times from there, ranging from 137 to 139. So it's a very competitive lap time set from the lads there. But Super Steve and LD4614 taking damage there, and that's going to affect them hugely.
Yeah, it's going to have a big impact on the Q2 session. I'm very interested to see if any of these drivers manage to go faster on the Impers if they do put them on. Because, the drives don't have much grip here right now, so you never know. The Impers maybe could work better than the drives in these conditions. So yeah, I'm just very interested to see if anyone does go on Impers and if they are able to beat these tyres. You do see Super Steve hitting on the Impers, obviously not happy with the dry tyres and the grip that it's giving him. So I feel like we should just watch him, see the time that he does set, and see if the others follow him and go for that on the Impers.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be close. We did see the lap times in Q1 range anywhere from a 130 to about a 133, 134. So the guy's going to look to improve on these lap times as much as possible as Vicky comes across the line and goes 11th fastest with a 140.5 on those medium set of tyres. And you did speak about it before, the invalidating of his lap time would have affected him a lot. But it's just Jordan in the lead. We spoke about him, just that constant underdog, but he's got the pace there. Looking like he's doing some good stuff today.
Yeah, he's always doing some good stuff. I just feel like we don't cover him enough. He's just kind of doing his own thing and not really contesting for the lead that much right now. He is getting those consistent finishes, challenging for the podiums, as we have seen multiple times throughout the seasons. Props to him for a great lap here in these tricky conditions.
Yeah. He's done well, and following his counterpart in Pierre Gasly in practice 3 there, Pierre Gasly is the fastest in Azerbaijan today in practice 3. So just Jordan and following in Pierre Gasly's footsteps.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Only 2 drivers out on track now, RR3 Chartman and the Mercedes of Vicky, I believe it is, after their flying laps. The intermediates will probably start to come out now from most of these drivers. Vicky on those mediums still at the end of his laps, but Super Steve, the driver out on track at the moment on those intermediate tyres. EH Holden on those medium tyres coming to the end. But we'll get Gergos to cover us a lap around USA here for Super Steve here in the Renault.
Just before I do that, we do see PSI Legends in the Twitch chat, so he's very happy with his lap on mediums, even though he did say it was very tricky. So, yeah, so good work by him to put a good lap in on those mediums in the tricky conditions. As we do see Super Steve starting his lap, DRS open, going down the straight into the heavy uphill braking zone. Good place for overtaking during the race, so obviously this is qualifying, so I'm going to see much overtaking here. So coming in now to turn 2, and turn 3, 4 and 5, the S's, very tricky. Ooh, bit of a spin there from him. Not really what we were looking for, but yeah, just very tricky in these conditions. Not providing enough grip for Super Steve on the Impers. Yeah, he'll be trying to set a lap as quick as possible. So he can go into Q3 and possibly contest for
another spin as well.
He does spin again, so maybe this is the return of the commentator's curse. So.
That's right. And but these apexes are, when they are wet, they are very tricky to drive on, and you will notice that when a few drivers start to slip out on the apexes there. It's very tricky to drive in these conditions. It's not dry, but it's also not soaking wet, so it's very slippery and hard on these kinds of surfaces. A few drivers starting to come out now. One of them being Bosco Hand, Aiden Bell as well, out on new sets of intermediate tyres, I believe it is, if I'm correct. No, it's soft tyres for Bosco Hand, so choosing to go fast, which is wise. Because if you could choose to get out on intermediates, you get a new tyre set on the softs, wouldn't you? Is that how it works? Pretty sure.
Yeah, he sets the fastest lap on Indians. He has a free choice of dry tyres.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you'd think to go on the intermediates if you can go faster, wouldn't you?
Yeah. A very bold strategy from him, so I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do, but I'm sure it'll work out for him in the end.
Yeah, exactly. We trust the guys. Let's see what they can bring. Super Steve will follow on board unless he goes into the pits. No, he does look like he's going into the pits, so we can't give him another commentator's curse. I tell you what, the amount of times I've done that when playing is, I think I've lost count.
Yeah, it's a very, very tricky pit entry, I do have to say. very tight. As they do say, LD 4614 validates on their vintage, so he's yet to set a lap, so hopefully can get back around, set a lap, and then maybe drop into the pits and maybe get one final lap as he's trying to get into Q3.
Follow on board now with Boss Gohan, driver that's done well all season, jumping between Tier 1 and Tier 2 a few times. I reckon if he did stay in Tier 2, he would have had a red crack at Vicky up the top. But starting his lap, coming into the S's of turn 4, 5, 6 and 7 now. Probably the most difficult part of the track just to get consistent and do well. And in these Formula 1 cars, the downforce and the grip obviously just in these corners, they're amazing, and you just have to get that good flow through the turns. And this is the part of the track where you can gain a lot of time on your competitors here, especially through these turns if you have a lot of pace. Coming through 8, 9 into 11, 10 into 11 now, a very high-speed corner. Again, another heavy braking zone into 12 where you can, in the race, line up and overtake quickly before this DRS zone. On this DRS zone, obviously, I'm not sure if they'll have it open now in this rain.
No, they don't.
They didn't have it in the rain. No, it was turned off, disabled, yeah. The DRS straight, another part where you can overtake, but like we spoke about before, this Sector 2, end of Sector 2 into Sector 3 part, part of the track where it is most easy to go wide and lock up. It's a very technical, difficult part of the track here through these turns here in the final sector. The slowest part of the track as well, so it's a difficult part of the track, but it can be a good place to make a little bit of time on your competitors, like we did speak about Sector 1, because it tests a lot of variety of your racing. So the drivers have to be very careful going through this, as we've seen Boss Gohan pull out of his lap. But especially through this part of the track that he's coming through now, this turn 19 and 20, two very heavy braking zones, and if you do invalidate your lap, it's going to probably do this the next lap as well, which is probably going to hurt your qualifying session, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely going to hurt the qualifying session. All those invalidated laps on it. It's just trying to get a good lap in, trying to find that flow, and set a decent lap so you can progress into Q3. And we do see Chrome Dog coming to the end of his lap. Nowhere near the time that he said before on those soft tyres. So it looks like those guys that went out earlier and actually set a lap had a massive advantage over these other guys, as you would expect. With the different conditions of the track. Chrome Dog crosses the line with a 147, but almost 9 seconds behind his previous time, just showing how much of a difference the conditions really do make.
Exactly, LD 4614 and those intermediates as well, 147.7. So the conditions are starting to worsen up now, and LD probably will regret not going out a little bit earlier to get his lap time out. He did go out a little bit later than he probably would have liked, but these guys are struggling, and a lot of these guys are just going to miss out due to the conditions. Vicky probably missing out on this session as well, because he's probably not going to be able to improve from those mediums as LD has slipped out through the S's of Sector 1. That's probably going to mean his qualifying 2 is over as well, because he probably won't be able to get around in time. But yeah, like I said, Vicky probably dropping out, probably won't be able to improve on his lap time. It's more just going to be these last guys of Toys R Us, Super Steve, LD, seeing how many places they can gain, because obviously the difference between 13th and 15th can be a massive difference towards your race start as well.
Yeah, going to be a huge difference. I'm surprised there that Vicky is actually P11.
Like we said, Stewart's
not getting out early enough, just injured his opportunity to get into Q3 and possibly pole. So yeah, a bit disappointing for Vicky. I'm pretty sure he will be very uncertain with himself. But we have seen him. He has a great race pace. So let's see what he can do in the race from that position. I think it's going to be a very difficult race for him, but he does want to close out his championship as soon as possible. So yeah, can't wait to see what he can do during this race.
Last Corindog going back into the pits. McLaren of LD now coming probably into the pits this race. The Haas of Aidan Bell. Doing doughies on the track trying to get around in these wet conditions. Going to be difficult for him. A good qualifying session from both Haas drivers, Aidan Bell and Bray Train, and 4th and 5th. They'll look to get the most out of their Q3 session as they can. PSI Legends chucking us some faces in the chat because Vicky is gone. But yeah, lots of drivers are going to be able to get the most out of their qualifying sessions here. Haas is doing some amazing stuff in this session so far. Just Jordan, driver of the day for me so far, putting in some very, very good laps. But something that is not really shocked me, but because of the weather, Boss Gohan in P9 is looking like he's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, struggling with these conditions, it does look like. P9, he is still through to Q3, so I'm sure he might be disappointed now, but, if he does get pole, he'll be very happy. So at least he does have that chance to quite pole. Oh yeah, just want to mention quickly, Crazy Mouse Monster and PSI Legend. Oh, I'm sorry. They qualified the softs and I thought they qualified into this, so I thought they would have that free prize race.
No, the only person on the intermediates is LD, and he's out of the top 10. So the only driver in the top 10 as well, PSI Legends on the medium, so that's going to make a difference in the race as well. Probably the better race strategy, would you say?
Yeah, definitely the better race strategy. Probably the safe one as well, because you can go to mediums, you can go to softs or the hards. So he has more of a free choice, where the others are most likely going to go from softs to the hard tyres. So PSI Legend is looking like he's in a very good position here for the race.
Yeah, exactly. The only driver to qualify in these mediums, so he'll look to capitalise on that as well. So that's the end of this Q2 session. Pretty eventful one. We didn't expect rain at the start. We did see the few rain droplets at the start, and that did affect these drivers on their first flying laps. Toys R Us, Super C, LD4614, EH Holden, RB3 and Vicky, the drivers to leave us in Q2. Moving on to Q3, these drivers are going to show us their real pace and how fast they can go. Looking like the session is most probably going to be wet. It's going to be an interesting session. Make sure you don't go anywhere. Q3 coming to you very shortly here. ARG Racing Tier 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, to this brand new starting up Q3 session. So we're going to see these guys putting in their fastest lap times here to see who can get the fastest lap and pole position for the race. I'm going to give you good assistance into turn one especially, and a good getaway for the race here for these guys. PSI Legend showing us he did have the good pace in Q1, just joining in Q2 in the weather conditions that he did show he did well. So those two guys looking like they're showing some real pace, but obviously Boss Gohan did get a little bit lucky on his first lap, so let's see where this session will put him. And I did notice, just noticing the break, both Mercedes out of Q2, so the constructor standings is going to be a little bit mixed if the race continues very similarly to this.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice that. It's going to be a very exciting racing, with those Mercedes dominating for most of the season. So without them in the top 10 here in Q3 and not fighting for pole, it's going to be very interesting in the race. So,
yeah, exactly. And the Racing Point's only 12 points behind, so that's really it's a close battle, especially since we're at the end of the season. Normally the gaps start to open up a little bit, but even the midfield battle from Williams in P363 to about Haas or even McLaren in P8 with 120. One good race, that changes it all. So Racing Points, if they can get a good race out of this one, Crazy Mouse Monster and Anthro showed us good pace in Italy. If they can get some good pace out of this one, the constructors are going to be all mixed up again.
Yeah, it's going to provide a very interesting race, I think, this race here on USA. And yeah, it could really shake up the constructors' standings at the end of this season. So yeah, 3 races left after this race. So it could be very interesting for the constructors with those 2 Racing Points fighting for pole position.
Yeah, nice. It's going to be different. Let's see what these guys can produce. So all drivers out on track now. First one being Crone Dog. So let's see and follow on board with him. He'll be the first driver to complete a lap. So let's see what he can produce in this qualifying session. All drivers out on track. First one, Crone Dog, starting his lap at the current time. 1 minute 4 second to about probably 1 minute 50 second now that the rain's a bit more heavier. Will probably be around the lap times that they will be producing in this session. We saw a late LD lap was a 1:47, was it, Gugas, or something similar to that?
Yeah, it was around that mark. So
yes, and it's pretty similar weather conditions to that, maybe a little bit worse, looks like. So let's see what these guys can produce. Crone Dog going through Sector 1 now, a little bit wobbly in these S's here, but on the apex you got to be very careful because they do become very slippery in the rains parts of Sector 1. 2 Haas's coming across Sector 1 now, and the Sector 1 finish part, as Braytrain shows us, a purple sector. The other Haas pulling out, looks like Aiden Bell's pulled out of his lap and validated. Just Jordan on a lap now, looking like he's Josh Jordan's on a lap now, looking like he's showing us some real pace. Jay Kelly on a lap as well. So they all basically started their flying laps now, as we've seen Boss Gohan go across the line now. Another purple sector, I think it was from RR3 Chartman. We'll follow on board with Crone Dog coming into Sector 3 now, the slowest part of the track, like I spoke about before. Anthro coming in there, another purple sector for him, so he's going faster than Crone Dog in both sectors. Coming to turn 18 here, this very interesting corner, flat out in these Formula 1 cars, which is incredible to see. The pace they produce coming into the second last turn here. Another downhill, crossing the apex where it can be slippery, so you've got to be very careful. And again, easy to lock up, a little bit different in the wet. But let's see where this lap will put him, and the benchmark will set a lap time of a 1:47.3. So very similar to the lap time of LD4614 in Q. And Anthro's entered the pits, he might have invalidated. Very similar to LD4614 in qualifying 2. Braytrain got across the line with 1:47.5, so 2/10 slower. Josh Jordan goes faster, 1.1 seconds faster. Aiden Bell has invalidated his first lap, so he'll have to go again. The 2 Red Bulls, PSI Legends has invalidated. R3 Sharpman coming across the line goes 4th faster to 1:47.9. PSI Legends starting his flying lap now. Jay Kelly coming across the line has invalidated as well. So a few drivers invalidating. Crazy Mouse Monster invalidating as well. Let's follow on board with Boss Gohan now. Hasn't invalidated, coming to the end. Middle part of Sector 3 now. Again, this constant turn of turn 18, flat out coming into this across the apex turn 19, and again heavy braking turn 20. Careful in the rain here that you don't spin the car. Let's see where this lap will put him. Very competitive lap time, looks like. Puts it across the line with a 1:46.6, 4/10 down on Just Jordan. But Just Jordan has put it on provisional pole so far. But PSI Legends, Aiden Bell, Jay Kelly, Crazy Mouse Monster and Anthro yet to complete a lap. So let's see where these guys can put it in this part of Q3. The first laps they'll put out, but they'll probably put out one more towards the end. So let's see what these guys can do. So Legend's coming to the end of his flying lap, the middle of his flying lap, so in Sector 2 here at this DRS straight that would be in the dry. Let's see what these guys can come across the line. Crone Dog looking like he's pushing again, not sure if he's going to finish it or he's going to finish his lap, so it looks like he might be up on his lap time. So let's see where this will put him. A bit of a struggle to get back to the pits and back out again. A 1:46.7, a great lap from Crone Dog there. So he'll have to get back to the pits as soon as possible. We'll probably get out one more time to complete another lap. Aiden Bell coming to the end of his flying lap now, which he hasn't completed yet. Braytrain coming to the end of his flying lap has been validated on his lap time. Just Jordan coming to the end, seeing if he's 3/10 slower on his lap time. So what? He was 1:46.2. What has happened there, good guys? I think it's PSI Legends, isn't it?
Yeah, PSI. He had a purple sector in sector 2 and he just lost it in, I think, turn 17.
Both Red Bulls, yeah, turn 18. Both Red Bulls into the pits, so that's not going to help them. They were saying in the paddock just then they're looking to take the fight to the Mercedes. So let's see where these guys can put a Crazy Mouse Monster entering the pits now. So these racing points yet to complete a lap. PSI said that was really scary. Sure enough, I wish I could see that. You have to send that to me. Jay Kelly, another invalidated lap time. I almost retired. Oh, that would have been. Oh, that would have made things interesting. Bosco Hand enters the pits. He'll be happy with that lap time, but Just Jordan, he'll be even more happy with that lap time.
Yeah, great lap from Just Jordan. As I did see him invalidate. I'm not sure if he was up, but yeah, he didn't know that. But yeah, I don't think we've seen the fastest laps yet because with these winters and these wet conditions, the racing line does dry up as the session progresses. So I think the drivers are really saving it for that one last lap, trying to put everything into that lap, and yeah, trying to get that pole position on that final run. So yeah, 4 minutes to go, so almost at the end of this session. But yeah, we're just going to wait for these drivers to get ready for their final runs and see who will take pole position.
Braytrain deciding to go on another finish lap, which is very interesting because he probably will not get out for another lap. Be very close if he does, which I don't think he will, but goes P2. That's an amazing lap time. He was 3/10 up only on his lap time in sector 2, I'm pretty sure it was, and has come and made up almost a second faster on that lap, so it's an amazing lap from him. Just Jordan entering the pits there. He's invalidated his lap before that, so he'll go out again. Everyone will go out again, trying to complete their fastest lap times. These guys are now starting to come out. But we have people like Braytrain who will probably not get out again. So it's going to be a mixed Q3 session for when these guys can get out. But let's see what these guys can produce. Jay Kelly coming to an end of a flying lap now, I believe it is. So let's see if he can complete a lap because he hasn't put one together yet. It's a 1:55, so it's not looking good for Jay Kelly unless he's got some extra fuel in the car because he's already completed, I'm pretty sure, 3 laps on those tyres. Yes, it is 3 laps. He goes across the line with a 2 minute. I ever think I've said a 2 minute lap time before. I've never in my commentary years never said a 2 minute lap time. I can't remember that if I have.
The only time you would have, I'm sure, is there where it was wet conditions.
Singapore as well. Singapore. A bad lap in Singapore. But I can't remember that.
That's right. Oh, internet's gone. Oh. Yeah, that's cool. Up into 5th place after quali.
We could do something after.
Yeah, we'll do after. Watch the real qualifying on TV.
No, let's get far. No.
I'm only joking.
Saturday should be our day.
Sunday, Monday and Fridays are they?
Welcome back again to the race, ladies and gentlemen. USA Tier 2 action. It's going to be an awesome race, guys, and we're going to see some different things starting to come in now, and I've just seen you write it in the Discord. What do you think the best strategy for this race will be?
The best strategy, I would say, is probably starting on the mediums, just trying to avoid the damage, trying to put in a good sim. And, you know, depending on how long you make those mediums last, possibly going for the softs. But I think we will be seeing a lot of soft to hard and medium to hard. So I would say ideally the best strategy probably is medium to hard, just to be safe. But if you really want to be risky and you can manage the tyre as well, I would say the medium to the soft would be the best option.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that, but we're going to see some different strategies, like we spoke about before. PSI Legends on the mediums, the only driver on the mediums in the top 10, so let's see what these guys will choose. We've got 5 drivers out of the mediums: PSI Legends, Vicky, Super Steve, USGT Fishing, and Scooby Stu. Surprised USGT Fishing isn't on Inters. But yeah, these guys, different strategies throughout the race is definitely going to assist your lap. But something that I was a little bit, not shocked, but surprised me a little bit in Q3 there was Bosco Hand in P6. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he just, couldn't find enough grip, unfortunately, in those tricky wet conditions. So I guess a bit of a disappointing qualifying for him, but, we have seen what he can do, starting from, not the back of the grid, but a bit further down the grid, you could say. So, yeah, a bit disappointing for him, but it's going to be great to see what he can do. And as I was talking, I've just seen the strategies. It does look like it's actually a 2-stop strategy. I thought it would be a 1-stop, but yeah, so maybe the medium, soft, or soft, medium, medium could actually be better than medium to hard or possibly soft to medium.
Yeah, exactly. These different strategies are going to make up your race, and we're going to see a few of these drivers changing it up to try. Like I said before, these guys need the points. It's coming to the end of the season. The few points that changed, first to second, second to third, 7 to 8, it all makes a difference. So let's see what these guys can produce out of this one. Getting close to the race start now, and it's going to be an interesting race, definitely, from these drivers. PSI Legends on top, Crazy Mouse start in P2 for the racing points, and Just Jordan in P3. So it's going to be an interesting start to this race, and hopefully we can get a clean getaway out of turn 1. See a few drivers that normally aren't up there, see if they can score a few points for their teams. It'll be good to see a different race winner every week, wouldn't it, Gurgos? But we can't get that every week, can we?
Yeah, it would be great to see, someone new winning every week, but you can't really have that. As PSI Legends, people like PSI Legends who are just that consistent and that fast every race. So yeah, we'll be great to see, a change in the winners, but yeah, it's still great to see people, fighting for points and getting as many points as possible for their team.
Yeah, that's it. Quickly, just before the race start, we get going. Peter Legends claiming that he will do a one-stop. So that's an interesting call from him. So let's see what he pulls out of this race. And let's see what these guys can pull out of the USA Grand Prix here, ladies and gentlemen, for Tier 2 action. It's going to be a great start getaway. Hopefully these guys can get away clean, because it's going to make all the difference in this race start. As we see the red lights starting to go out at the start of this USA Grand Prix. And they're not out because it's always glitch. I don't know why it does that. Engines are firing. You're going to see the guys off the line very shortly. And it's lights out. Let's see what these guys can produce. PSI Legends looking like he got a little bit of a slow start compared to Crazy Mouse Monster. Down the inside goes the Racing Point of Crazy Mouse Monster. Just Jordan also down the inside, and the Racing Point looks like he spends a little bit of damage in the Mercedes. A lot of damage from the Mercedes as well as the Racing Point. So the two guys that are fighting for a lot of positions in the constructors, and that is a spinning Ace Leeson in there from the Alfa Romeos. A lot of damage out of turn one from these guys. Fair few positions have been dropped from turn one there. PSI Legend didn't look like he got away well, but the Crazy Mouse Monster and Just Jordan were fighting on the inside, so they gave him an opportunity down the outside to leave himself a lot of room, and got away very cleanly there, did PSI Legends.
Yeah, very clean start from him. As we do see, Noctis came into McLaren retiring. He did hit the wall, so not sure. I'm pretty sure he did retire from going. He's our first driver to retire from this race. But yeah, PSI Legends, a bit of a shaky start and a bit of a slow start, but yeah, he did manage to stick it out in P1, so props to him on those medium tyres as well, and all the other runners behind him on the softs. Yeah, great start for him. I guess the order's a bit shaken up here.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a little bit of a slower start. It did look like he was still quick, but Just Jordan, I think if he didn't have PSI Legends in front of him, probably would have took the battle to the guys out in front, because he would look like he was held back by PSI Legends a lot. We see a few drivers falling out a lot of positions, a little bit of damage potentially in there. We'll see a fair few drivers pitting now. But it's a pretty disappointing race start from the guys there. Didn't get away very cleanly, to be honest. But let's see what happens later down the track for these guys. A massive gap in the midfield now has been created. So let's see who is entering the pits now. There would be a lot of guys entering the pits, because there was one driver that spanned, causing damage to a lot of the guys there. Another yellow flag in Sector 1. That looks like a spin. I think it was from the Haas Bray train. I don't know if it was contact or a spin. But again, these guys just struggling a little bit, maybe struggling for grip. And then that is a Red Bull without a front wing, I believe. Was that Just Jordan? Looking like he has no front wing. No, Just Jordan, sorry, RO3 Chartman. Yes, RO3. Safety car. Jeez, that's surprising. Don't know what happened there. And that's a safety car, another safety car. To add to the ARG Tier 2 list. Only 5 drivers stopping, which is pretty surprising. Both Mercedes in the number of 5 drivers there. So a bit of a struggling start for some of these guys, but they're still going to look to capitalise on some of the guys that did get away well. So we'll see position changes. So Chromad up 6 positions on his race start. Scooby Stu up 12 positions. That's an amazing race start from him. Started P18, now P6. That's an amazing race start for him. Just Jordan up to P2. I didn't even see that overtake, to be honest. A few drivers down, a fair few positions. Vicky, Crone Dog, Jay Kelly dropping a fair few positions. But the full course caution safety car is going to bring the pack together. And hopefully a clean race from here on out. Let's see. Yeah, a few drivers. Did we get any penalties from that race start? And a 3-second penalty for FSL Ace. He did look like a bit of a victim there in the turn 3 crash there. Did you see what happened in turn 1, Gugus?
Didn't really see. I just saw as PSI Legends was going into turn 3, 4 and 5. I just saw Ace, kind of facing the wrong way. So didn't exactly see exactly what happened.
Fuck's sake.
She take a lot of damage. And I'm just going to say, Vicky in last place, a big loser from his race start.
And it's RO3 Chartman out of the race. Sorry to interrupt you. RO3 Chartman out of the race. He didn't crash it. I'm not sure if he crashed out. It looked like he entered the pits, maybe. No, he's stuck. I think he might have hit the pit wall. I believe he might have hit the pit wall.
Yeah,
Not sure what happened there. And it's LD4614 into the pits as well as Bray Train, so they both might have had damage in that Red Bull incident. Noctis Calum says, I'm pulling, I was given a league overtake back, and as it did, several cars hit me, forcing me off the track. What about the clean racing? Someone behind me hit me into the wall. Yeah, just submit it to the stewards. They'll have a look at it. That did look like a bit of a shaky start from the guys. A 5-second penalty for Bray Train for speeding in the pit lane, I believe it was. Is wrong with the McLaren. Which McLaren? Vicky. Might be LD because he's the only one left. But we'll see the safety car come in as soon as possible, hopefully, because we need to get to qualify.